Hola, mi gente. Miss Malcolm Hughes here. Welcome back. Today we're going to predict the winner of the NAACP Outstanding Fiction for 2024. That will actually be announced March 16th next month. But today I want to talk about all the ones that have been nominated, and then we're going to rank where I think they'll land. In the end, I'll predict which one I think will be the winner of the award. All right, so just jumping right in, as you can see here, these are the books that have been selected as potential winners for the Outstanding Fiction. And unfortunately for these, it's not open to public voting. And so that is even more reason to predict because it's based on the merit of the book. I'm also going to consider things like the description, how well it's done publicly, the critical acclaim that it's been receiving, and just like based on my own personal opinion, which one I think deserves it, but then which one I think will actually win. So we're going to talk about it one by one. All right, so jumping right in, the first book we have is Everything is Not Enough by Lola Akinmade Ackerstrom. And here's what the book is about. Can a career woman truly have it all? Powerful marketing executive Kimi Adeyemi has finally found the man she needs. But Tobias Wickstrom thinks she's the most selfish woman he has ever met for asking him to give up his life in Sweden and move to the US for her own comfort. Will Kemi be forced to stay if she wants to keep him while chipping away at her hard-earned career? As things begin to sour and challenge her relationship with Tobias, someone else moves back into the picture. It's always someone circling the block. Can having it all be a gilded cage? Looking into divorce in Sweden isn't what former model turned flight attendant Brittany Ray von Luden anticipated. Only jointly owned assets are split evenly between couples. Brittany gave up her career and came with nothing into Johnny's kingdom. Having a child with him, her greatest fear for Maya includes being cut off from the resources she's become accustomed to. With a man obsessed with the ghost, trying to get away isn't going to be easy. And the deeper she digs into the past, the darker the secrets she unravels. Can you run from your past to have it all? After fleeing her home through a client to seek a new life in Sweden, Yasmin finds love in the arms of Yagi Selik while carving out her own small corner. But if someone from her past forces Yasmin to become a caretaker before she's ready, she now must confront and move beyond her teenage history while following her dreams of becoming a makeup artist. Everything is Not Enough follows the loosely intertwined and messy lives of Yemi, Brittany, and Yasmin as they interrogate themes of place, prejudice, and patriarchy in Europe, proving yet again that Lola Akinmade Ackerstrom is the next great voice of nuanced contemporary women's fiction. All right, y'all. So this is also the writer of In Every Mirror She's Black. I remember that getting a lot of attention when it first came out. And so the book does sound interesting. Let's continue on. I'll tell you where I'll rank it at the end and why. So the next book we have is Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. And here's the description. Flor has a gift. She can predict to the day when someone will die. Well, okay. So when she decides she wants a living wake, a party to bring her family and community together to celebrate the long life she's led, her sisters are surprised. Has Flor foreseen her own death or someone else's? Does she have other motives? She refuses to tell her sisters, Matilde, Pastora, and Camila. But Flor isn't the only person with secrets. Her sisters are hiding things too. And the next generation, cousins Ona and Yadi, face tumult of their own. Spanning the 3 days prior to the wake, Family Lore traces the lives of each of the Marte women, weaving together past and present, Santo Domingo and New York City, told with Elizabeth Acevedo's inimitable and incandescent voice. This is an indelible portrait of sisters and cousins, aunts and nieces, one family's journey through their history, helping them better navigate all that is to come. I like how so far each story seems unique and individual, and it doesn't seem as if we're seeing a theme, but it does. If we were to point to one so far, we do have women who are trying to navigate their lives and determine who and how they want to be. But we'll see if that keeps up. The next book we have is The House of Eve by Sadiqa Johnson. And here's the description. 1950s Philadelphia. 15-year-old Ruby Purcell is on track to becoming the first in her family to attend college. But a taboo love affair threatens to pull her back down into the poverty and desperation that has been passed on to her like a birthright. Eleanor Quarles lives in Washington, D.C., with ambition and secrets. When she meets the handsome William Pride at Howard University, they fall madly in love. But William hails from one of D.C.'s elite wealthy Black families, and his parents don't let just anyone into their fold. Eleanor hopes that a baby will make her finally feel at home in William's family and grant her the life she's been searching for. But having a baby and fitting in is easier said than done. With their stories colliding in the most unexpected of ways, Ruby and Eleanor will both make decisions that shape the trajectory of their lives. Okay, again, similar theme so far, women navigating and finding their way. Let's continue. The next book we have is Let Us Descend by Jasmine Ward. And here's the description. Let Us Descend describes the journey from the rice fields of the Carolinas to the slave markets of New Orleans and into the fearsome heart of a Louisiana sugar plantation. A journey that is as beautifully rendered as it is heart-wrenching. The novel is the literary equivalent of an open wound from which poetry pours. That's beautiful. Annie's sold south by the white enslaver who fathered her is the reader's guide. As she struggles through the miles-long march, Annie's turns inward, seeking comfort from memories of her mother and stories of her African warrior grandmother. Throughout, she opens herself to a world beyond this world, one teeming with spirits of earth and water, of myth and history, spirits who nurture and give, and those who manipulate it and take. While Annie's leads readers through the descent, hers is ultimately a story of rebirth and reclamation. From one of the most singularly brilliant and beloved writers of her generation, this searing and lyrical, raw, transcended, and ultimately hopeful novel inscribes Black American grief and joy into the very land, the rich but unforgiving forests, swamps, and rivers of the American South. Let Us Descend is Jasmine Ward's most magnificent novel yet. Whew, that is a lovely write-up. That is a very lovely write-up. I'm not giving too much of my opinions on these works yet. I'll talk more about my thoughts when I do my ranking. But the next book we have is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. And here's what it's about. In 1972, when workers in Pottstown, Pennsylvania were digging the foundations for a new development, the last thing they expected to find was a skeleton at the bottom of a well. Who the skeleton was and how it got there were two of the long-held secrets kept by the residents of Chicken Hill, the dilapidated neighborhood where immigrant Jews and African Americans lived side by side and shared ambitions and sorrows. Chicken Hill was where Moshe and Chona Ludlow lived when Moshe integrated his theater and where Chona ran the Heaven and Earth grocery store. When the state came looking for a deaf boy to institutionalize him, it was Chona and Nate Timblin, the Black janitor at Moshe's Theater and the unofficial leader of the Black community on Chicken Hill, who worked together to keep the boy safe. As these characters' stories overlap and deepen, it becomes clear how much the people who live on the margins of white Christian America struggle and what they must do to survive. When the truth is finally revealed about what happened on Chicken Hill and the part the town's white establishment played in it, McBride shows us that even in dark times, it is love and community, heaven and earth that sustain us. Bringing his masterly storytelling skills and his deep faith in humanity to the Heaven and Earth grocery store, James McBride has written a novel as compassionate as Deacon King Kong and as inventive as the Good Lord Bird. All right, y'all. So those are the descriptions of the 5 books that are nominated for Outstanding Fiction for the 2024 NAACP Award. And now we're going to get into where I will rank them. We're going to do it based on these 3 tiers. We're going to start with the books that I think are least likely to win. We are then going to move into the books that I think are most likely to win. And then from those, I am going to predict which one will be the winner. All right, let's get into it. So here we have our 5 books, and I'm going to place them where I think they belong, and we're going to work our way up. But we're going to take them one by one. So first up, we have Everything Is Not Enough. I actually think this one is least likely to win. And I say that because though the description does sound interesting, we also have to take into account popularity. And I'm doing that based on how much I've heard about this book. And then the claim that I feel like this book has already received. And honestly, seeing it on this list was the first time I've heard anything about this book. Now, if this book has been popular to you and you've read it, please let me know in the comments below your thoughts. But this is my first time experiencing it just based on the description. Though I think it is a solid choice, I do find some of the others to be more compelling, more interesting for my liking. And then also some of them just are more popular and have gotten more critical acclaim. And so for that reason, we have that one with the least likely. Next up, we have The House of Eve. And I've seen this book everywhere, and I've only heard good things about it and its writer in general. So I'm going to put this one with most likely because I think the description was solid. I've heard great things. It's already gotten a lot of critical acclaim, and I can definitely see this book being a top contender. All right, next up, we have Let Us Descend. Again, another popular book. I know folks were really anticipating this book when it first came out. I can say I don't know if it has done as well with just critical and communal reviews, but I think it is still a solid read. Jasmine Ward is very well respected. And so I think that she is in the running for this. Next up, we have Family Lore. I've seen this around. I haven't heard much about it. Haven't really seen many reviews on it. The description does sound interesting, but I don't think of it as a top contender for the reasons that I've already said, just about critical acclaim, but then also popularity in general. So this is another one that I feel belongs in least likely. All right, the last book we have is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. This is a book that has been widely critically acclaimed. It has also been popular for readers as well as, again, critics. So it's been getting a lot of praise from both. Just kind of everywhere, honestly. Definitely already been nominated for a few things on a few lists. And so this one is definitely in my most likely. So we have 3 and 2. Now, of these 3, it's hard to say. So I'm going to move 2 of them up. I think House of Eve, I know the author is really looking forward to it. I'm sure all of the authors are. And I've seen a lot of praise and acclaim for it. I don't know if I don't know. I think I feel more strongly about these 2, Let Us Descend and The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, just the work that they're doing. I haven't read any of them yet. I do plan on getting to, definitely The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store is one of the books that I plan on getting to in the near future. I have ordered it. I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. So I'm planning to get to it relatively soon. And though I don't want to leave The House of Eve there, I just feel like these 2 are stronger contenders based on the acclaim that they've already received. And then also just reading the descriptions and what I think the works are trying to achieve. And if they've done those well, then I don't see why either of them wouldn't get it. Now, of these 2, I am kind of really torn. I really believe in The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store just because of everything I've seen about it, the number of lists that it is already on. Let Us Descend, though, it's also doing really good work. And it, like I said, it was highly anticipated. But I got to choose one. I came into this and said that I wasn't going to be the person who's like, oh, it's one of these 2. I was going to choose one, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to predict that The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store will be the winner. We will see on March 16th. This is really just based on my opinion, reading the description, what I've seen, the reviews that I have read, and who I anticipate will win, who I think deserves it. Obviously, all of these books are on the list for a reason, so they all deserve it in their own way. But I do think 2023 was the year of the Heaven and Earth grocery store. Now, again, Let Us Descend or The House of Eve, they have a chance as well. If one of the other two books won, I would be surprised. But as I've already said, all of these authors have really worked hard and put out works that they believe in and are doing good work. So any of them could win for sure. Let me know who you all predict down in the comment section below. That is it for me. As always, I'm Ms. Malcolm Hughes, one who believes that books are sometimes better than people. And until the next one, please remember to give time, to be kind to each other, and to have the very best day of your life on purpose. Peace. Odabo. Adios. Ciao.